What's up guys, I am here at Almaty in Kazakhstan. I've just arrived here with the wonderful SCAT Airlines. As you may have seen in my previous video, I am now stranded here in Almaty after my flight with SCAT was delayed by over 2 hours, causing me to miss my flight back to the UK. If you haven't checked out my review of SCAT Airlines, please do go ahead and check them out. It was a fun experience, but certainly not one that I'd like to try again anytime soon. For now, however, I am stuck here at Almaty and looking at ways that I can get back to the UK. As we taxied in from our previous flight, I spotted an Air Astana A321neo sitting out on the ramp, which seemed like a nice upgrade from the old 737 I was on last time. Having checked the departure screens, I noticed it was going up to Astana, and I hoped that I would be able to get a nice flight home from Astana to the UK once I got there. They had a few remaining seats in business class, so I decided to book it on the spot. This is probably the closest to a flight departure time that I've ever booked a flight. We are just an hour out from departure, and I went straight onto Air Astana's website, booked my flight, checked in and went through security. Because I'd booked the flight so close to departure, I had to go and present my credit card to the check-in desk before I was allowed to get my boarding pass. Astana? Pardon? No, just hand baggage. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Sadly, due to the fact that my flight was literally about to board when I booked it, I wasn't able to check out the Air Astana lounge here at Almaty. If you've been there before though, let me know what it's like in the comment section below. It was a really nice surprise to actually be getting on board an A321neo today. It's a relatively new aircraft and it's one that I've never actually flown on before. My ride today was less than a year old and was only delivered up to Air Astana in June 2018. Boarding this aircraft felt incredible compared to the last 2 flights that I'd had with SCAT Airlines on really old aircraft. The cabin was really bright and modern, and the business class cabin in particular was really spacious. There was a nice headset at the seat as well as a nice Air Astana cushion as well. The seats had massive TV screens in the back of them. I'll show you through the in-flight entertainment system later in the video. The cabin crew came around handing out menus and wine cards for the in-flight dining later on in today's flight. There was a really good selection of wines, beers, spirits and all sorts of soft drinks as well. The crew came around handing out pre-departure drinks. I just grabbed an orange juice and a glass of wine. It was interesting to see an old Antonov 24 taxiing across the apron as well. I did look to try and find a way if there was any way I could fly on old aircraft like this in Kazakhstan, but my search turned up empty. If you know of any flights like this in Kazakhstan using these sorts of aircraft, please just drop me a comment down below. We pushed back from the gate right on time, and the 2 Pratt & Whitney engines spooled up into life. The city of Almaty is located in the northern foothills of the Zalisky Alatau mountain range. We got some fantastic views of these mountains as we took off. These mountains scale up to 5,000 metres high in places. Our flight today took us on a pretty much direct northwest path up towards the city of Astana. We flew overhead Lake Balkhash, which is one of the largest lakes in the world. From there it was straight up to Astana in the north of Kazakhstan. Flight time today was 1 hour 22 minutes at a cruising altitude of 38,000 feet. The headsets in business class were a nice noise cancelling type. I don't tend to use the ones on board though, as I much prefer my Bose ones. There's plenty of power dotted all around the seats here in business class. Aside from standard power sockets, there is a multitude of USB ports as well. There's also 2 power sockets located at the front of the seat just above where the life vest is. The seat doesn't move into a lie flat position, but it does allow you to recline quite comfortably. The tray table is located in the armrest and just pops out like this. It folds out into a drinks tray initially, and then you can open it all the way to get your full dinner on there as well. The crew came around with hot towels shortly after takeoff. Not long after was the first round of service. Service today started off with a drink service. I grabbed a glass of the really nice white wine that I'd had just before takeoff. In stark contrast with my previous flights on this trip, the dinner was absolutely delicious. I took a lamb kebab with rice. The dessert, by the way, was absolutely amazing, probably the best dessert I've ever had on board a commercial flight. The in-flight entertainment selection on Air Astana was quite good, and they come with a whole variety of TV, movies and music for you to listen to as well. The moving map display wasn't shown at all during the flight, for some reason it just wasn't available. However, for a flight of just 1 hour and 20 minutes it wasn't really that important. As we started our descent down into Astana, I saw these amazing looking clouds out of the window. With the huge city of Astana in the distance, we began quite a blustery approach down into Astana's runway. Astana is the capital city of Kazakhstan. It's also the second largest city in the country. Compared to the other 2 places I've been in Kazakhstan, everything was really modern and really shiny. My flight up from Almaty today to Astana cost me just £164.70, and that was only a few minutes out at the beginning of the flight. This works out to $215 which I didn't think was bad at all for a flight booked at the very last minute in business class too. For a flight of 591 miles, this only cost 28 pence per mile, which for the level of service on board I thought was excellent value for money. I found Air Astana's service on the A321neo really good. They're certainly as good as Western Airlines and reminded me a lot of Lufthansa. Even their in-flight entertainment system seems to be the same as Lufthansa's. We disembarked via the jet bridge into the really modern terminal here at Astana. This terminal was only opened in 2017, and like much of the city was built especially for the Expo 2017 event. And so I had arrived in Astana, the capital city of Kazakhstan. This wasn't somewhere I'd planned to visit on this trip, but it was nice to be here nonetheless. My next job was to try and figure out a way of getting back to the UK tomorrow. There were 2 possible flights I could have taken, an Etihad flight via Abu Dhabi that was leaving in just a few moments' time, which I think I was a little bit late for, or alternatively there was a Lufthansa flight the following morning that I'd found, or that would take me back to the UK via Frankfurt. I opted for the Lufthansa flight and found myself a nice hotel that wasn't too far from the airport to spend a few hours ahead of my flight tomorrow morning. Keep an eye out for that video as well. Don't forget as well, you can watch this full flight in real time just by becoming a supporter on Patreon. Let me know what you thought to Air Astana in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time here on In-Flight Video.